and I'm not even on. And all of these things shall be given unto you. And then you got the build. And this idea of building people for Jesus. We really got to focus on building people for Jesus. The reason being is because God had placed a call in our own lives as we are getting built up in our relationship with Jesus and maturing and growing. Then the goal is that we send you out. We send you out. We're not meant to grow the church to keep you. That's not God's will. And the will of God, if you look at the Bible, we grow you, we build you up, we send you out. Because people need to respond as God would call somebody or someone or people to become missionaries, to go all over the world and preach the gospel of Jesus. And some people are called to pastor. Some people are called to be an evangelist. Some people are called in so many different areas. And so the goal is for us to get built up and we respond to the call of God. And then the last thing is engage. Last week we talked about engage. What does this mean? Engage is simply this, is that you and I need to be part of what God is doing. We need to engage in giving. We need to engage in serving. We need to engage in generosity. We need to engage in prayer, in fasting. We need to engage in reading and learning about the Word of God. We need to engage in our communities. We need to engage in our cities. We need to engage. Are you with me? Amen. So, those are all good stuff. Those are good stuff. But today, we're going to talk about one thing that is required. For this vision, inspired, build, and engage to work, we need this one thing. How many of you have giants in life right now that you would consider, whether that's sickness or that's a relationship problem, marriage problems, issues, all kinds of issues in life, and you have a giant? And here's the thing. I had my giant about a couple years ago, and it was my Greek class. As many of you know, I went back to school as I felt that God was leading me to go back to school, and I did by faith. And it was a giant even for me to go back to school because I don't like school. Who likes school anyway? And so I don't. And so, but it was one of those things that I needed to obey because God has a plan. And so I even stepped out and faced this giant, this idea of going back to school and to study Greek. And here's the thing, just to give you an idea, if I am trying to learn Spanish, it's a lot easier for me to learn Spanish. The reason being is I could have a conversation and practice with someone and I get to learn the language. The problem with Greek, the biblical Greek, nobody speaks it anymore. So I can't even practice Greek with anybody. And so I started the class. It was my giant. And my first day of class, I sat there and I was like, oh, he is big. He is big. And so I started, my professor would start telling us about this Greek and all these words and all this stuff. And I was like, oh man, he is big. My second class, my third class, my fourth class, he becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm telling you, there was a time that I came home and I said, I'm ready to go see Jesus. Can Jesus take me now? Because trying to study and learn Greek was just beyond my reach. It was a giant of mine. And in fact, I remember my finals. It was a day that I've been studying for the last 2 weeks straight, nonstop studying about Greek. And then the day came to take my finals. I woke up at 3 a.m. just so that I would be prepared for the test. And I took that test, and it took me about a couple of hours to taking this test. And I went down after taking the class. I went down. And I'm telling you, I've never knew that your head could really actually hurt. I had a massive headache and I just was holding my head. I thought it was going to explode. And I was so tired and I went home. I just didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want to see anybody. I just wanted out. It was a giant. So all of us have giants, don't we? And the vision, let alone Now we're talking about the vision that God has given His church, and it seems like it's overwhelming because that's what giants do. He would make himself look so big and overwhelming, and what we do, because he gets so big, that we tend to back out and kind of cowardly just walk away or run even. And so there's one important thing we need to apply for our vision to work and for our vision to become a reality, because without this, we will fail, we will fall short, I guarantee you that. This one thing must be applied, or else nothing will work. All of what Jesus is calling the church and calling you to do, and what we need to accomplish together as a church, requires faith. Requires faith. It would require faith from us to be God-focused. There's no way in the world that you would just decide to be godly focused, to be God-focused without faith. It's just not going to work. You can try and say, hey, I'm going to be God-focused. I'm ready to really give my life and surrender my life to Jesus. Without faith, it will never work. You can build all you want. You can take people to the process of building and maturing and blah, 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 whatever. It's not going to work without faith. You can engage all you want. You can say, oh, I want to engage. I'm ready to engage. I'm ready to give. I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to do that. I'm ready to serve, whatever. Without faith, it's not going to work. So, it would require faith from us to get involved and engage in doing the work of God. It would require faith from us to accomplish the big vision that God gave this church. The vision is so big that it would require faith and sacrifices. I mean, just think about it. The 1,301, what does that mean? 3 years. In 3 years, we're going to have 1,000 connections, deep connections, really having some people to connect with. And you're gonna sit down for a cup of coffee or lunch and have God conversations, right? And then after that, 300 committed ones. And after the committed ones, we are going to send out 100 of them to start a church in the North Valley, Sun Valley, Sparks, whatever. And the vision is so big that it would require faith. And because your faith and my faith, you ready? We are required to make sacrifices. We are required to make sacrifices. Now listen to me. So, as you know, I like you guys to engage with me because if you don't, I keep saying this, that I tend to preach longer when you're not engaged. And so, I need you to engage. So, here's the thing. We need to sacrifice. But in order to sacrifice, we need faith. Do you know that the people I know that sacrifices have faith? They have faith. Because the people that don't have faith will never sacrifice. Will never sacrifice. The only people I know that make sacrifices are people with faith. People with faith. So what is faith? What is faith? Now think about that for a moment. What is faith? Well, in the book of Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1 tells us what is faith. Now look. Being sure of what? Of what we hope for, and certain of what we do not see. Okay, now let's read it together. It's up on the screen. Faith is being sure of what we hope for, certain of what we do not see. So what do we hope for as a church? As a church, what do we hope for? We hope that people that they would be impacted by the good news of Jesus Christ. We hope that people are coming to know the one true God. We hope that people will be reconciled to Jesus. We hope that people will get saved from their sins. We hope that people will receive this promise of eternal life. That's our hope. And we are hoping that you and I would be a part of that process, that we would be a part of that work. We hope. Amen. Then also faith is being certain that the vision that God has given this church, that God has given you, would come to pass. Being certain. We haven't seen it. We're not there yet. We haven't experienced it. But because of our faith, we know that God is going to do it. We don't have the 1,000 connections yet. We don't have the 300 committed yet. We don't have the one church plant. But we are certain that God is going to do it, that He's going to do it. We are being certain. That's faith. Being certain that the vision God has given this church would come to pass. Our faith, friends, is involved in the process of hope and being certain. Now look, the question is, how much of a faith do we need? How much of a faith do we need? You were given a seed. Jesus said in the book of, look, up on the screen, the book of Matthew 17, verse 20 said this. If you have faith as what? Small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. Nothing will be impossible for you. So how much of a faith do you need? It's right there. Look at it. That's it. But you might say, Pastor Angelo, this is all I need? Yeah, that's all you need. Why? Because a seed plus Jesus. Oh, I don't think you heard me. A seed. Pastor, this is really small. Yeah, it's really small. Plus Jesus. It becomes big. So you can't minus Jesus in the process of the seed. The seed that you have, that I have, plus Jesus. Then it becomes valuable. And then all of a sudden, you're seeing the seed, and then you're seeing Jesus, and all of a sudden you realize, oh man, this is all I need? Yeah, that's all you need. A mustard seed and Jesus. And the thing about it, look at it again. Now you have the seed. Don't be afraid to use it. You have the seed. Don't be afraid to use it. In the book of Hebrews chapter 11 is a story of just history of people with faith. And I call this chapter Faith in Action. Faith in action. You look at your seed, this must be planted. That's right. And Jesus is going to grow it. Right. It's faith in action. Faith in action. There are two stories that I want to point out today. The first one in the book of Numbers 13, and the other one comes from 1 Samuel 17. If you're taking notes, the book of Numbers chapter 13 and 1 Samuel chapter 17. Now look at me for a moment. The story is basically this. God said to Moses, I'm going to give you the promised land, but I want you to take 12 men to go to the promised land and spy it out and learn about the land. And so I just want you to look at the land. And so Moses sends 12. So the 12 men came and went to the promised land that God had promised to give them. And so they all came back. They all came back and gave a report. Now look at this. They said, we went into the land where you sent us, and it certainly does flow with milk and honey. And look, this is the fruit. Look, I have proof. We have proof. Then they said, nevertheless, the people who live in the land, look, are strong, And the cities are fortified and very large. And moreover, we saw the descendants of Anak there, which the giants in the land. So that's what they saw. And they gave a report. There's no way. They're so strong. There's no way that we would be able to go there and conquer the land. There's just no way. You don't even know. They're strong. And their cities are fortified and very large. And the giants, oh my goodness, there's just no way. And then Caleb stood up and said, whoa. Be quiet. Be quiet. He silenced the people. And he said, look at this. We should by all means go up and take possessions of it. For we will surely overcome it. No, wait. Can you just imagine the conversation and Caleb is saying this? Wait. What are you talking about, Caleb? No, you got to be quiet. You're telling us to be quiet? No, you be quiet. We can't go there and conquer the land. There were giants. They're pretty strong. The cities are fortified. There's no way. And then the men who gone up with him said, you're out of your mind. We can't do it. We're not able to go up against the people, for they are too strong for us. So they gave all kinds of excuses. The land through which we have gone in spying it out as a land that devours its inhabitants. And all the people whom we saw are men of great size, like a bunch of Shaquille O'Neal. Can you just imagine? And there also we saw the Nephilim, the sons of Anak, are part of the Nephilim, and we became, look at this, so when you see a giant, either you stand tall, or you start becoming really small. And we became like grasshoppers. In their sight? In their sight? Come on, talk to me. In their sight? No. They said, in our own sight. Not their sight, but our own sight. Stay with me. We're going somewhere. Are you ready? We're going somewhere. I'm going to pause. I'm going to talk about David and the people of Israel. So, the dad, Jesse, told the boy, David, hey, go over there and check out your brothers. Make sure that they're doing good. And come back and give me a report. So while David was traveling, the brothers and the people of Israel were dealing with Goliath, the giant. And so what happened was Goliath would stand in front of all the Israelites and would start taunting, would put so much of fear to the people of Israel. And what they would do, they would run quickly away from him. They were so afraid of him. And so this boy David arrives and sees what's going on and sees the Goliath, the giant. He was like, seriously? You guys are allowing him to speak like this? I mean, who is this uncircumcised? I can kill him. And his brothers rebuked him. Hey, dude, go back home and take care of the sheep. Go, you little fly, go. And David didn't. He went to the king. He went to King Saul and stood in front of the king and said, I have a problem, king. Can you just imagine a 14-year-old boy talking to the king? I have a problem, king. I want to talk to you about this problem. That Goliath dude, why are we allowing him to speak and mess with the people of God? Wait. Nobody is willing to go and fight him? And the king was like, yeah, no, little boy. Nobody wants to fight him. Can you just imagine David saying, I'll fight him? Imagine the response of the king. You'll fight him. Okay. Ha 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 ha. Did you hear what he said? He said he's going to go out there and fight the giant. Ha 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 ha. Did you hear him? And the king, imagine, anybody wants to go and fight him? Imagine one of them, each one of them would say, not me. Not me. Oh, not me. Every single one of them. And David's looking. I'll fight him. Anybody else? Have you seen the movie Shrek? There's a part there that Shrek wanted to go to a kingdom, and he wanted to take someone that is pretty strong and would do a great job, just in case to get into fights or whatever. And Donkey said, take me. And Shrek was like, anybody? You want to go with me? And Donkey was like, take me. Anybody? What about you? You want to go? And Donkey was like, take me. And so he keeps going, take me. And he becomes so annoying. And so Shrek was like, okay, I'll take you. Can you just imagine, David? I'll fight him. Anybody wants to fight him? No, I'll fight him, King. I'll fight him. And King finally said, we're all going to die. This is the end of my kingdom. Can you just imagine? So he gives David the go. We're all doomed. Nobody wants to fight him. Go. And he goes. Right? Now look. Whenever, verse 42 or 47, the giant, Goliath, looked David over and saw that he was a little bit more than a boy, glowing with health and handsome, and he despised him. So now, I love this story. Can you imagine Goliath is in front of the people of Israel? Who's going to fight me? Come on out, fight me. If you kill me, we're going to surrender to you. But if I kill you, you're going to surrender to us. We're going to eat you alive. Right? Just taunting, right? And then David comes up, I'm going to fight you. Can you just imagine the reaction of Goliath? You're going to fight me? I'll fight you. And I'm going to kill you. And I'm going to feed you to the birds and to the wild animals. So, am I a dog that you had a bunch of sticks to kill me? I'm going to eat you alive, dude. So you better go home and go to your mama, because I'm going to destroy you. And looking back up, you come with javelin and the spear, whatever, but I'm going to kill you. Because the battle is not mine, it belongs to the Lord. So I paused, and I'm going to pause here. Stay with me. 2 pauses. I'm going to come back. 2 days ago, I went to see my eye doctor. And for the last 3 years, she keeps telling me, Angelo, you got to wear your glasses. And I said, I don't need it. I can see fine. Angelo, you're not doing fine. You need glasses. Oh, I'm good. Angelo, stop denying that you're getting old. Oh, what are you talking about? It's like I was in denial. And so she said, I had been asking you to wear these glasses for the last 3 years, and you're not doing it. And today, before you leave, you're going to have to tell me that you're going to wear it for 2 weeks straight. I was like, what? 2 weeks straight. Do you know that I had been wearing this thing for the last 2 days? You don't even know the headaches. And plus, what in the world is progression glasses? How many of you have progression glasses? You know what I'm talking about? You know what that is? You put this on, and you have different, if I'm reading close, I can see that. If I'm driving, right in the middle. If I want to look far, I look up. And so what happened was, so if I'm driving, I would stop, right? And I would hear a honk. Sorry. I thought I was really close to the light. So sorry. It's like progression would mess you up. But here's the thing. My doctor said, you got to wear it so you can see better. I'm going to unpause. Why is it that the 12 men went to the land, they saw the same thing? Would you not agree? They saw the same thing. They saw the land, they saw the fruit, they saw everybody there, right? Even the giants, they saw the same thing. Pause. David and the people of Israel also saw the same thing. Goliath, the giant, they saw the same thing. Pause. Why is it that they responded and reacted differently? Why is it that they responded differently? The people of Israel responded differently the way Caleb and Joshua responded, and David responded differently the way the people of Israel responded. You know why? I'll tell you why. Because they were looking at the giants using their natural eyes. Because if you look at your giant with your natural eyes, what happens is that he becomes so big, he becomes so, whoa, man, he's a giant, and you get overwhelmed, anxiety comes in, and all the stuff and fear and doubt. And the people of Israel here, looking at Goliath, they were using their natural eyes. Watch. Caleb and Joshua, they put on their spiritual eyes. David put on their spiritual eyes. What happens is that when you and I put on our spiritual eyes, what happens is that our giants become small and weak. Oh, come on, that deserves an amen. When you put on your spiritual eyes, knowing that you have a mustard seed and you have Jesus on your side, the greater is he that is in me than the one who is in the world. The fact that I can do all things through Christ who gives me the strength. When I put on my spiritual eyes, all of a sudden my giants become small and weak, and I can stand like David and the people of like Caleb and Joshua to say, come on, bring it on. So what is your giant in your life? Is it addiction? Is it financial struggles? Is it health issues? Is it marriage problems, prodigal children, mental issues, depression, anxiety, fear, unhealthy relationships, problems at your job, overwhelming stuff at school, your past? What is your giant? And you got to put on your spiritual eyes, knowing that you have a mustard seed and Jesus, and you know that greater is he that is in you, that you can do all things through Christ. All of a sudden, your giant of financial struggles, your giant of sickness, your giant of whatever becomes small and weak. Oh, this is good preaching from the Holy Spirit. Not me, but this is good preaching from the Holy Spirit. When we see the vision that God has given us, we got to put this on. Because if we use our natural eyes, we say, oh, we can't do that. But do you know that this is the reality? That when God gives a vision, there's always the naysayers. When God gives a vision, there's always this negative people that wants to destroy the vision of God. Thank you, Brother Walt. When God gives a vision, people would love to come to you and say, oh, you'll never make it. Oh, that's just crazy vision. Forget that. Forget that. No, you have those people. But guess what? I've had that. When I shared the vision, some people came up to, oh, Pastor, my friends, put this on. Because when you have this on, you have the mustard seed in Jesus, all of a sudden, the vision is like, come on, let's do it. Because then you would understand that when God gives a vision, it's so big that it's like just saying, it is impossible. And that's why he said, if you have a faith like a mustard seed, you got to understand that nothing is impossible. Why? Because a mustard seed plus Jesus, come on, nothing is impossible. Are you with me? So going back to my giant of this Greek class, 4 semesters, second semester, I was ready to go home to Jesus, literally. I was so stressed. My wife was saying, honey, you're changing everything. You're changing. Like my attitude was sour, just whatever. Because I was so consumed by seeing this giant of mine. And then finally God said, the reason why, the problem is, you don't have this on. You're just using your natural eyes. But when you put on the spiritual eyes, then all of a sudden, your giant becomes small. And I've decided to put this on. May 1st, is I'm graduating with the degree. Not to say I'm bragging about that. It's just that God called me, and I had to step out in faith and believe Him, even though there were people saying, you don't need to go. Oh, I don't know. If I were you, right? But I knew in my heart that God was calling me. And I just had to believe what God told me. May 1st, is I'm graduating. And here's the thing, friends. How do we apply this thing? Because a good message without application is a waste of everybody's time. We got to apply this. Number 1 is we got to apply faith. We got to apply faith. You have a mustard seed. Look at it again. Don't be afraid to use it. Don't be afraid to use it. Don't be afraid. Now wait. I got some more. Number 2. Step out of the boat. Step out of the boat. The story of Peter, when he walked on water, the disciples were sitting and having a conversations, and all of a sudden they see Jesus walking. They were, whoa, it's a ghost. And Jesus said, no, it's not a ghost. Nice try, but it's me. And when Peter saw Jesus walking on water, all of a sudden he was like, Jesus, I want to walk on water. And Jesus said, come to me. He stepped out. He started walking on water. Now stay with me. I'm not done. How many walked on water? How many? How many walked on water in that story? Not you. 1. Peter. Wait. I have a point. So all the 11 disciples saw Peter walked on water. Was the walking on water for Peter only? Come on, talk to me. Is it for Peter only? What if Matthew says, or John, or Jesus, I want to walk on water? Do you really think Jesus would say, this is only for Peter? Or would he say, come and walk on water? Now all of a sudden, not only Peter, but now Matthew, Bartholomew, and all these guys are now walking on water. Wait. This is what they did. You see, Peter is walking on water. Oh my, look, that's amazing. Look, Peter. Jesus was like, anybody else? Oh, anybody else? Matthew? James, you want to walk on water? Oh, not me, man. Not me. Oh, not me, man. Not me. I wonder how many of Christians today that sits in the boat. I'm getting somewhere. That sits in the boat while watching all the Peters to walk on water. And they're saying, oh, I'm good. I'm good on Sunday. I'm good. Yeah, I'm here to just watch the Peters. I'm good. No. God is saying, come, be the Peter. Be the Peter. Can you imagine if every single one of them said, I want to walk on water? And Jesus said, come. Every single one of them starts walking on water. If I was one of those guys, I'm assuming, because I'm crazy like this, I'm going to be like, oh my goodness, not only I can walk on water, but I can run on water. Oh, I can jump. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Yeah. Right? All of a sudden, everyone are experiencing the miracle and the supernatural presence of Jesus. But you can only experience him if you get out. You know, a lot of people that speaks negatively about the vision. Oh, I'm good. But I'm good at criticizing people. I'm good at criticizing the vision. I'm good at that. But no way I'm going to walk on water. No. We don't need to stay in the boat. I don't care how old you are. I have great respect for our elders, and you know me, I honor you. I don't care how young you are. Everyone must get out of the boat and say, it's time, Jesus, we're going there. It requires faith. It requires for us to apply it. We were given a mustard seed, and plus Jesus, you can step out of the boat, and then all of a sudden, the third thing I want to talk to you about is that being part of the journey. Because all of a sudden you got out, and now you are in a journey of experiencing the miracles and all the supernatural things that only God can do, and now you are a part of the journey. And now that you are a part of the journey, we got to celebrate the journey, because now all of a sudden we are experiencing all this amazing stuff from God. People are getting saved. People are coming to know Jesus. People are coming and we're being reconciled in this relationship with God. People are coming and people are just wanting Jesus. And all of a sudden we get to celebrate. But you got to make a decision. Either you're good here, or you're good here. Because this is where you're going to find Jesus, not here. This is where you're going to experience Jesus, not. This is You're not going to experience Jesus here. You will only experience Jesus there. So, the decision. It's up to you. Be the 11 or be the Peter. How many of you would say, I want to be the Peter? Inspire, build, engage. It requires faith. You don't need to have a big faith. You just need a mustard seed faith plus Jesus. All you need is a mustard seed faith and plus, oh, come on, one more time. Jesus. That's right. Come on, give him praise.
Hallelujah, Jesus.
Would you bow your heads and close your eyes for me, please?